Hey, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co., and this is Where Are They Now for May of 2025. Where Are They Now is the series where I take a look at the games I played for the first time a year ago, as well as the games I played for the first time 5 years ago, and then tell you how they're doing today, dividing them up into 4 categories. The games that I didn't like to begin with, the games that I liked but didn't feel the need to keep, the games that I kept and then left over time, and then the games that I kept and are still here. We're going to start off with 2024, specifically 2024, the category of the games that I didn't like. And as usual, reminder for the series that when I say I didn't like it, I don't necessarily mean that I actively did not like it, but it definitely moves even further. The category of games I liked but didn't keep are games I liked it, I had fun, but hard choices have to be made in life, whereas the games I didn't like just means that they never even compelled me to consider keeping them in the slightest. To that end, we have Gloomhave, Buttons and Bugs that I played in May of 2024, and that is basically one that I wanted to like it. I was excited for it. I like Gloomhaven Jaws of the Lion. Yes, I know I am a little burnt out on Gloomhaven as a series, but I was like, let's try this one out, let's see how it is, and it wasn't for me. It fell into that trap that I find a lot, not trap's the wrong word, it fell into the genre I have, that there are a lot of small box games that are trying to give you an epic experience in a small box game. And I find I usually want my small box games to feel like a small box game and my epic games to feel like an epic game. And when one tries to do the other, I usually feel like I'd just rather play something else. And that was true with Gloomhaven, Buttons and Bugs as well. We also had The Flames of Fafnir. This was a prototype that unfortunately was definitely, take my note of dislike here for the prototype stage. I put out a kind of first impressions. I didn't even give it a score because I don't know if I could possibly give it a score. Because the problem is it was a dexterity-based prototype where the dexterity elements weren't really balanced, but I don't think I would like the game either way because it has, or at least the prototype had, I don't know if the final game will, but the prototype had the not one versus many, that wasn't the issue. The issue was it had the semi-co-op aspect where you kind of are working together to defeat the dragon, but one player can take over the dragon, so you have to balance everything around that, and ultimately I felt the experience was trying to do a lot of cool things, but ended up being a semi-frustrating experience. In the category of games that I liked but didn't feel the need to keep, we have a lot over here. We have Surf's Up from 20th Century Games, a fine game. I think it was a Reina Knizia game if I'm not mistaken. It was a fine game, point scoring. I enjoyed it but didn't feel the need to keep. We had Cascadero or Cascadero. I always mix up which one's which. I think last month I talked about one, this month I'm talking about the other, but Cascadero, whichever one of those two Knizia titles it is, both of them I enjoyed, Cascadero and Cascadero. Neither of them broke into the feeling the need to keep. We have Isle of Night from Red Raven Games, a fun game that was definitely, it was a fun game of trying to gather cards, set collection, optimize your score, all of that, but again, didn't feel the need to keep. I'm going to stop saying that after every one of these games. That's the category they're in. We had Rebirth, another Knizia title. A big month for Knizia titles. But Rebirth from Mighty Boards, Rebirth is good. I think Through the Desert is my go-to tile laying game from these. We have Fate of Venterra. This was a 4X prototype game. It's again prototype phase over here. I enjoyed it. It gives you a lot of fun things to do, but it's one of those bigger experiences that I only have room for so many in my collection. We have Flowers. Now the problem is, which Flowers was this? There's 2 games that are called Flowers. I don't know which one this was, so I think this must have been the one that I didn't feel the need to keep inherently. Flowers. I'm just going to go with Flowers because I'm not certain which one. There's 2 games on BGG called Flowers that came out roughly the same time. I think roughly the same time. And I have different experiences with both of them. One of them I really enjoy playing on Board Game Arena, and I actually still need to hunt down a copy. And then the other one was I don't remember. There's 2 games called Flowers. The other one I don't remember offhand. I think it was based off of the 2-player game that I can't remember the name of it, but it was a follow-up to that. I know I'm not being very helpful here. I apologize. We have Unstoppable. Unstoppable from John D. Clare. That's a fun one. Unstoppable is one that I still might pick up. I haven't bit the bullet on it yet, but it's one that I am still considering getting at some point. But I enjoyed it enough. It's got a fun little solo game of trying to beat the enemies, Slay the Spire-esque kind of style game, but I think I prefer Slay the Spire overall. We have Unfold. It's a series of escape room kind of games. These are kind of one and done. I don't think I'm ever going to intentionally pick these up over exit games or unlock games that I just think are better. Unfold's kind of gimmicky in the nature of what it's trying to do. It's just a puzzle with a gimmick of unfolding as you go. We have Nature. Nature's an interesting one. Nature is one that I do plan on picking up at some point. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a good evolution of the series. I make that joke every single time. It's not really intended to be a joke. It just makes sense. But Nature is the best version of the evolution system, in my opinion. But overall, the evolution system is one that, historically speaking, even when I enjoy it, I find doesn't hit the table as much as I would like. So both things are true. I really like it, I enjoy it, and I kind of want to pick it up, and I'm also a little gun shy because I know those games haven't lasted in my collection in the past. And that's the category of games that I liked but did not feel the need to keep. As far as the category of games that kept and then left, we have 0, which is usually my goal. My goal for the series is that games that I chose to keep, I should still have in my collection at least a year later. It's not always going to happen, but that's my ideal goal. Over time, things can change. From games that I played 5 years ago, that's okay for games to leave. I don't believe games have to be forever. I think games are something you can enjoy, experience, and move on from. But unless it's something that you finish, like a campaign, a legacy, a one-shot, escape room, I do try to avoid having games in the kept and then left category for a year ago. I want my taste. I don't mind if my tastes are rotating, but I want some degree of stability around them. Past that, we have the category of games that kept and then just stayed, and those we have 2. We have 10 Days in the USA. This is from a year ago. I had the series way back when, and then I had them for a few years. I had all of them, 10 Days in Asia, 10 Days in Europe, 10 Days in Africa, all those games, and then eventually they did leave over time. But with the off putting out this new version of these games, I got them again. My daughter's been, not just my daughter, my kids in general have been loving them, and 10 Days in the USA is doing just fine in the collection. It's not going anywhere anytime soon. And then we have Jekyll versus Hyde. This one I'm not sure if it will be around forever. The last time I was doing a game purge on my collection, I was like, do I get rid of it? But I was like, no, it's a 2-player trick taking. I like having a few of those. So I kept it for now. I don't imagine it'll be here in 5 years' time, but for right now, it's still safe. Then in 2020, because that's all the games in 2024. For 2020, again, we have the 4 categories: didn't like, liked, kept, and left, and then kept. For the category of games that I did not like, we have Sierra West. Sierra West was a game that I thought was way too complicated relative to the actual lightness of the game. It's actually one of the games, it's a very pivotal moment for me in my board game review career, I guess. Sierra West is a game that I was doing a Games Leaving the Collection video, and I said, I hate this game. I said in the video, I was like, I did that, blah, 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 I hate this game. And then someone who I'd been trading games with very frequently messaged me 2 weeks later. We were trading games or whatever, and he's like, we're doing another trade. And he basically messaged me, he's like, oh, I'm sorry, Sierra West didn't work out for you. And I looked at the name, and I looked at Sierra West, and realized that the person I'd been trading games with for the past few years was a designer, and the designer of Sierra West. And I'm like, oh, there's a human being on the other side who watched my review of, not even a review, as a Games Leaving the Collection. He watched me sit there and say, I hate this game. And that's fine if I hate the game, but I really don't. I really don't hate Sierra West. Sierra West was just a forgettable game. That part is true for me. That part is not a game that I would choose to spend time on. But it's the thing that made me realize that on the other side of the words you choose to use are often people. And that is the price that they have to pay, and so to speak, by putting out a game that might be reviewed. They have to be willing to sign up for that. But I should at least mean what I say. And that's kind of like to me, I'm not here to pull my punches if the punches are real. But I think so often in life we use the word hate casually. We use it oh, I hate doing that. Oh, I hated this. I hated that. And we don't often realize that if you really genuinely did, fine. But so often we just use it as a placeholder for I didn't love it. And so that's kind of the moment that made me realize for board games that if I'm going to be critical, I should be willing to stand behind every word I say, to the point that I would say that to the designer's face with apologies, I'm sorry it didn't work out for me, but I should mean it and not go overboard. The way I always put it is I don't mind being overexcited for a game, but I try to be very specific when I'm being negative. So a pivotal moment for me in my board gaming hobby career. Filming, video, YouTube, all that stuff. Anyways, past that, the category of games, just that one, Sierra West, that's the only one I have. Then in the category of games, was it Sierra West? No, I'm blanking. Yeah, this checks out, Sierra West, that checks out timeline-wise. Anyways, I'm a pivotal moment stuck with me. Was it that game? Anyways, the category of games that I liked but didn't feel the need to keep. We had a bunch over here. We had Era Medieval Age, which is kind of like a spiritual successor to Roll Through the Ages. It was fine. Nothing wrong with it. I don't think it necessarily stuck in any way. It was just a fine game. We have Tiny Epic Galaxies. See what I said about Gloomhave Buttons and Bugs. I enjoyed it. It was fun. And I actually like Tiny Epic Galaxies more than Gloomhave Buttons and Bugs, but Tiny Epic Galaxies is one of the better ones in the series, but still not enough to keep. We had we had Cupcake Empire. That was a fun thematic one, but a little bit, I don't know if it stood out in anything outside the theme. Nothing wrong with it. A good game, but didn't really stand out outside of that. We had Honshu, which I believe was a card-laying game, if I recall correctly. There's so many games, so many names at this point. But I liked Honshu, but it's not my favorite card. Like, I like games like Sprawlopolis and Casinopolis and all that, but Circle the Wagons more than Honshu. And then we have Shards of Infinity, which is one that I've enjoyed. I've gone back to it at times, but overall Star Realms is the one that I tend to prefer over Shards of Infinity. In the category of games that I kept and then left, there are two over here. We had Shobu from Smirk and Dragon Games, a very fun abstract game that I enjoyed it. It was a good abstract game, but it's one of those that I played a certain amount of times, and then eventually it did leave. It's not one that I felt the need to keep forever. And then we had Macao from Stefan Feld, that I like Macao. I think it's a great game, but it's not amongst my favorite Stefan Feld games, and those are the ones that stick around. In the category of games that I liked and then kept, there are several over here. We had Dragon Tower, or Draken Term. Dragon Tower is a fun one that my kids still enjoy. You've got a very fun gimmick aspect to it that is just very satisfying to play through. There's Charterstone. Charterstone is one that I've actually gone back to. Like, I put it in the category of kept and still here because I played Charterstone way back in 2020, but I've since gone back to it and played it again, and I'm not averse to playing it again in the future. Any legacy game I play twice, I feel deserves to be in the kept and then kept category. Then there's Circle the Wagons, which I mentioned already. I like Circle the Wagons a lot, love it, big fan of it, and it is still here, and I'm excited for the new version that will be coming out soon. Then we have Parks. Parks, specifically the Parks over here. I have the base game, the expansions. I've played it a ton. I really enjoy it, and I finally am getting a copy of Parks 2nd Edition. I just traded for it with somebody else, and I'm getting a copy of that, which is nice because I kind of had FOMO about that, but also didn't want to spend money on it, so trading games for it feels like a good compromise. And then lastly, there's Monumental. Monumental is one that has managed to stick it through for a long time now. I'm almost surprised it's still here, but it's one that I really have enjoyed a lot when I play it, and even though it hits the table very infrequently, a lot of it was me waiting for the new content, but now it's here and I still haven't tabled it since then. But I don't think it's going anywhere anytime soon. It might not be here forever, but I really have enjoyed my time with Monumental. It's beautiful production value, solid gameplay. Biggest problem is it can run long at higher player counts. And that is basically your recap of, well, where are they now? The games I played for the first time a year ago and the first time 5 years ago, and how things have fared over that period of time. Until next time, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co. I hope you enjoyed this video, and as always, I hope you have a good one.